Hello, my lovely viewers. Welcome again to Mathematics and I. This is the presenter Jefferson, and today on the board we have using completing the square method in solving quadratic equation. Now, remember in our previous videos we were able to see how we can use the formula method and also the factorization method in solving quadratic equation problems. But today we shall be looking at how we can use completing the square method in solving for the roots of quadratic equation. Now, as you can see on the board, we have two examples, and these two examples is what I will be using in explaining solving for the roots of quadratic equation using completing the square method. And I hope after the class you will learn something new and you will know how you can use this method in solving quadratic equation problems. Now, the first question we have is find the roots of 4x squared minus 8x plus 4 equal to 0. And the second question we have is find the roots of 6x squared minus x minus 2 equal to 0. Now, how do we begin solving quadratic equation using completing the square method? First, now let us see. The question says 4x squared minus 8x plus 4 equal to 0. Okay, now when you are solving quadratic equation problems using completing the square method, the first thing that you are going to do is to make sure that you have only the x's on the left hand side or on the right hand side. It depends on the way. So automatically it means our plus 4 goes to the right hand side so that we can have x squared and x alone. Now, when plus 4 crosses the right hand side, it becomes minus 4. So what do we have left? We have 4x squared minus 8x is equal to minus 4. Now, how did I get minus 4? Plus 4 crosses to the right hand side, and then it becomes minus 4. Now, if you have done that, the next thing you have to do is check for your a. Now, when your a is greater than 1, make sure you divide with the coefficients. Now, you will notice that my a here is 4. Now, when you are using completing the square method, you are not supposed to be having a number here at all. The number here is supposed to be 1. So because we have 4 here, what do we do to remove this 4? We divide all through by 4. So it means we are going to be having something like this. Over 4, over 4, and over 4. Now, you notice that 4 will cancel out 4. So what do we have left here? X squared. Now, minus, class, where 4 cancel out 8, we are going to get 2. So it means what do we have? Minus 2x equal to minus 4 divided by 4 will give us minus 1. Now, what is the next thing you do? Once you have gotten to this stage where your x squared carries 1 and then your constant is at the right hand side, what do? You introduce completing the square method. And how do you introduce completing the square method? It is by taking the half of b all raised to the power of 2. That is how you introduce completing the square method. So if I want to do this now, you will see we have something like this. Let's go. X squared minus 2x. Now this was we had this in the question before. Now let us introduce the completing the square method. Plus half of b raised to the power of 2. Now, equal to, now what do I have here? Minus 1. Also, what you do to the left hand side, you also do to the right hand side. So here I see bring plus half of b raised to the power of 2. Now, what do we do? What does of means? Times. What is our b? You will see that my b here is minus 2. Remember we said that b is the number that ordinary x is carrying and a is the number that x squared is carrying. Now, what is x carrying here? Minus 2. Means anywhere I see b, I will give minus 2. So automatically we have this x squared minus 2x plus, now here we have 1 over 2 of means times. Now, my b now is minus 2 raised to the power of 2 equal to, now we have minus 1 plus into the bracket of the same thing, 1 over 2 times minus 2 raised to the power of 2. Now, without wasting time, what do we do next? We have something like this now. X squared minus 2x plus into the bracket of class. 1 times minus 2 will give us minus 2. Minus 2 divided by 2 will give us minus 1. So we have minus 1. For me, minus 1 raised to the power of 2 equal to, here we have minus 1 plus, the same thing happens here. 1 times minus 2 gives us minus 2, and minus 2 divided by 2 also gives us minus 1 raised to the power of 2. Now, when you get to this stage, you will notice that x carries square, minus 2x is not carrying square, minus 1 is carrying square. What do? Bring out what is carrying square and give it in the bracket. So automatically, when I open a bracket here, x is carrying square. I'll bring out the x, minus 1 is carrying square. I'll bring out the minus 1, and then I'll give raised to the power of 2. Then it means that minus 2x is no longer there, because why? Minus 2x does not belong to the square family. Now, without wasting time, equal to. Now, what do you do to the right hand side? You open your bracket here. So here becomes minus 1 plus. Now, minus 1 raised to power 2 simply means minus 1 times minus 1 into 2 places, laws of indices. Now, minus 1 times minus 1 will give us 1. So automatically, what do? It means that in this question, we are having something like this. Here becomes x minus 1 raised to the power of 2 is equal to. Now, minus 1 plus 1. Minus 1 means you are owing 1. Plus 1 means you have 1. Now, when you pay the 1 that you are owing, you are no longer owing and you no longer have. So what do we have here? Automatically, here becomes 0. Now, what do? Remember, we are looking for the values of x. So automatically, for us to make x stand alone, first, our square needs to go. Now remember, when square crosses equality, it becomes what? Square root. But because we are solving quadratic, it becomes plus or minus square root. So automatically, without wasting time, here becomes, x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus square root of 0. How did I get plus or minus square root? When the square crosses equality, it becomes plus or minus square root of the 0. Now, without wasting time, let us proceed. We are going to get something like this. X minus 1 is equal to plus or minus 0. How did I get 0? Now, because the square root of 0 will still give us 0. Now, if the square root of 0 is 0, what do we now have here now? For us to get x, for us to make x now the subject of the formula, it means minus 1 has to go. Now, when minus 1 crosses, it becomes plus 1. What do we now have here now? X is equal to 1. Now, minus 1 crosses to become 1. Now, plus or minus 0. Now, remember we said, when you have plus or minus, separating two numbers, you separate. So, automatically, here becomes x is equal to 1 plus 0 or 1 minus 0. So, what do we have? X is equal to 1 plus 0 will give us 1. Or 1 minus 0 will also give us 1. So, it means that if we solve for 4x squared minus 8x plus 4 equal to 0. The roots of the equation we are going to get using completing the square method is 1 or 1. Or you can simply say x is equal to 1 twice. What does 1 twice mean? It means 1 is appearing 2 times. 1 or 1. So class, this is the root of the equation when we use completing the square method in solving this quadratic equation. Mind you, even if you use factorization method, you will get the same answer. If you use formula method, you will get the same answer. Okay, now without wasting time, let us go straight up to our second question, which says 6x squared minus x minus 2 equal to 0. Again, we shall be applying completing the square method in solving this quadratic equation. And let us see what is the roots that we are going to get. Now, we begin. Now, the question says 6x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. Don't forget, what are we using? We are using completing the square method. And I said, when you are using completing the square method, the first step you take is that our minus 2, which is our c, goes to the right hand side. Now when minus 2 crosses to the right hand side, it becomes plus 2. So what do we have? 6x squared minus x is equal to 2. And then what did I say is the second step you take? Make sure that your x squared is carrying 1. But what is our x squared carrying here? 6. So what did I say you do? You divide all through by 6. Over 6, over 6, over 6. So what do we have? When 6 cancel out 6, what do we have left here? X squared minus x over 6 is equal to, I believe 2 can cancel 2 and 6. When 2 cancel 2, 1. When 2 cancel 6, 3. Now that we have been able to make sure that our a here is 1 and our constant is at the right hand side, what did I say we do next? We introduce completing the square. And how did I say you introduce completing the square? By taking the half of b raised to the power of 2. Now, what is our b here now, class? You will notice our b is the number that x is carrying. And what is the number x is carrying here? X is not just carrying a whole number, x is carrying a fraction. And what is that fraction? Minus 1 over 6. That's our b. Now, introducing completing the square, we're going to have something like this now. X squared minus x over 6. You have to write it first, then you introduce plus bracket 1 over 2 times, what's our b now? Our b now is minus 1 over 6 raised to the power of 2. Equal to, the same thing happens here, 1 over 3 plus into the bracket of 1 over 2 times minus 1 over 6 raised to the power of 2. Now let us proceed. Here becomes x squared minus x over 6 plus 1 times minus 1 will give us minus 1 and 2 times 6 will give us 12 raised to the power of 2. Equal to 1 over 3 plus 1 over 2, 1 times minus 1 also gives us minus 1, 2 times 6 also gives us 12 raised to the power of 2. Now remember what I said you will do here. All the ones that carry square will be in the bracket. And what is carrying square here? X and minus 1 over 12. Let's do that. I'll give it in the bracket. X, then minus 1 over 12 raised to the power of 2. This guy is no more there. Is equal to, what did I say you do to the right hand side? You open the brackets. Now when we open the bracket, we're going to get something like this. 1 over 3 plus, now minus 1 over 12 raised to the power of 2 simply means minus 1 times minus 1 over 12 times 12. Because why? This power is affecting everything inside the fraction. Now, minus 1 times minus 1 will give us 1. 12 times 12 will give us 144. So it means when we expand this bracket, we are going to get what? 1 over 144. Now let's proceed, class. Here becomes 1 over 144. Now without wasting time, you will notice now that I have two fractions here. And these two fractions, they are separated by an addition sign. Now, when a plus sign or a minus sign separates two or more fractions, what do? You look for the LCM. So we are going to look for the LCM of 3 and 144. And I guess it will give us 144. Now, without wasting time, for those of you that don't know how to look for the LCM, let's solve this here. 3 and 144. Now, when you say LCM, it means the lowest common multiple. Now, the lowest number that can go here is 2. Now, 2 can't go into 3. I bring my 3 down. Now, 2 into 144 will give us 72. Now, 2 can still go. 2 again cannot go into 3. I bring my 3 down. Now, 2 into 72 will give us 36. Now, 2 can still go again. 2 into 3 cannot. 2 into 36 will give us 18. Now, 2 can still go. 2 cannot go into 3. 2 into 18 will give us 9. Now, 2 cannot go into any of the numbers here. So, what's the next number that can go? 3. Now, 3 into 3, 1. 3 into 9, 3. Now, I believe 3 can still go. 3 here, 1. 3 into 3, 1. Now, getting our LCM will multiply all the factors. Now, 2 times 2 gives us 4. 4 times 2 gives us 8. 8 times 2 gives us 16. Now, 16 times 3 will give us 16 times 3, 6, 12, 18 will give us 48. And 48 times 3 will give us 144. Now, without wasting time, our LCM is 144. Now, this is what I'm going to do. X minus 1 over 12 raised to the power of 2, then the LCM is 144. Now, if my LCM is 144, how many times will 3 now How many times with 3 go into 144? Now, 3 into 14 will give us 4. Remaining 2. Now, 3 into 24 will give us 8. Now, it means 3 into 144 will give us 48. Now, 48 times this 1 will give us the 48 here. 3 into 144 will give us 48. And 48 times this 1 will give us the 48 that we have here. Plus 144 into 144 is 1. 1 times 1 will give us 1. So automatically, class, what do we have? Here becomes x minus 1 over 12 raised to the power of 2 is equal to 48 plus 1 will give us 49 over 144. Now, class, what did I say we're going to do next? Our square crosses the equality and becomes plus or minus square root. So here automatically becomes x minus 1 over 12 is equal to plus or minus square root of 49 over 144. Now, class, what do we do? Here becomes x minus 1 over 12 is equal to plus or minus square root of 49 will give us 7. Square root of 144 will give us 12. Now, for us to get the value of x, for us to make x the subject of the formula, minus 1 over 12 will cross to the other side. Now, when minus 1 over 12 crosses, it becomes what? Plus 1 over 12. So what will be remaining here? X is equal to, when this one crosses, it becomes 1 over 12. Then what do we have? Plus or minus 7 over 12. Remember we said, when you have plus or minus, we separate. Now, when we separate, x is equal to 1 over 12 plus 7 over 12 or 1 over 12 minus 7 over 12. Now, class, without wasting time, what do? X is equal to, class, the LCM of 12 and 12 is 12. So what will I just do? If the LCM is 12, how many times will 12 go into 12? 1. 1 times 1, 1. Plus 12 into 12, 1. 1 times 7, 7. Or also the LCM here is 12. 12 into 12, 1. 1 times 1, 1. Minus 12 into 12, 1. 1 times 7, 7. So class, what does it mean? It means we have this. X is equal to 1 plus 7 will give us 8 over 12. Or 1 minus 7 will give us minus 6 over 12. Now something can cancel out. What can cancel? X is equal to the highest number that can cancel 8 and 12 is 4. 4 into 8 will give us 2, and 4 into 12 will give us 3. Or what's the highest number that can cancel minus 6 and 12 is 6. So 6 into minus 6 will give us minus 1, and 6 into 12 will give us 2. So what does that mean? When we apply completing the square method, solving 6x squared minus x minus 2 equal to 0, the roots of the equation are 2 over 3 or minus 1 over 2. So class, we have come to the end of today's video, which says using completing the square method in solving quadratic equation. I believe you have learned something new today, and do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get more notification and then you can get to meet those topics that are giving you problems in mathematics. Don't forget to share, don't forget to like, and don't forget to comment. Till we meet again in our next video. Goodbye. Thank you.